Hey, good morning from Gold Canyon, everybody. We're at a house built in '98. This house is looking pretty good. We're getting started on the roof, looking around the concrete tile roof, pulling up a few of the tiles here and there, taking a look at the underlayment. It doesn't look new. Looks like it's got a little bit of age to it, but somebody's been doing some maintenance up here because we've got fresh mortar caps. Nothing's cracked out. I don't see any cracked tiles besides maybe a couple little corner cracks like that, which aren't a big deal. This bathroom slash vent fan for the dryer is plugged up, so we've got two coming up. That's a problem right there. Man, you gotta clean out your dryer vents. That's what happens when you put a dryer vent right next to a bathroom vent or ventilation fan. The lint is gonna come up and then it's gonna go right down the other pipe, and that's gonna be a fire hazard. All the rest of these flashings are okay, but another thing I noticed here is these ridge caps on the top are different colors. So somebody's been up here doing repairs. We just don't know when. So we want to ask the sellers when they had repairs and what was done. Another thing I noticed up here was this big old mesquite tree that's going to overhang your house. There's a lot of debris that's going to build up in this area. This is why we cut back these trees so much. It's nice because it provides shade, but this is the north side of your house. What kind of shade is this really going to provide? But it's going to cause you problems because all this stuff is going to build up, get stuck in here, and then water is going to be retained and held against your underlayment, decreasing the life of your roof span. So if it were me, this tree really has no point or purpose. I would cut this thing back all the way to your roof line. So the underlayment on this house doesn't look bad, but it is dirty. You can see those batten boards have a little bit of wear and tear on them, some staining. Try and find some fasteners too. If the fasteners start rusting out, that's how we can kind of age a roof. But pull up these shingles in a couple spots and it doesn't look bad. You see this underlayment underneath the concrete tile roofs is kind of like your underwear. You know, it protects your pants from staining. So, and the other way around, this is going to prevent your attic or your roof from staining on the inside, because this is your waterproof barrier. These concrete tiles only really protect the underlayment and make sure it doesn't get damaged and get holes in it. But your waterproof barrier is below this. That's your underlayment. So we're in here inspecting the garage. We've got a lot of cabinets built in, so luckily they've got all the belongings moved out of these cabinets, so I can just open the doors up and look inside. Typically for Arizona, we've got the water heater over here in the garage. We don't have a bollard. This is one of the years that we weren't putting bollards in, so we can't drive into the water heater. It's not doing too bad though. Electric water heater hooked up to the water softener here. Looks like it's been serviced last year, about a year ago. It's not a built-in vacuum. This is just a vacuum mounted to the wall. But as we go over here to the closets, I was a little bit concerned finding termites in here, and yeah, we did find some termites. Those are termite tubes, and then below them you're gonna find like that little hole where they pop out of. That's where they drill out, and then they try and find their way through the tubes. If they can't find anywhere out, they just take off and drill another tube. You can see they did that there too. Just drill a little hole and try and find some wood. We've got a little factory going on in here. So it's always good to open these cabinets up, and usually if these are occupied homes, this is full. This is full of stuff, and I can't look in here. You know, you got coat hanger right here, so you'd have stuff hanging in front of here. You might not see this if it's an occupied home, so you always want to look at these areas in the garage when you're buying a house. See, we got more tubes over there, another tube there. Now they don't look active. These have little holes in the tubes, so they're probably not using it. They would have patched that up and continued. We want to make sure that there's been termite service or treatment done on this property. And we got a couple more back here. These are all termite tubes. And it's pretty common to find the termites on the side of the house, side of the garage. See if we've got them in here. Don't see any tubes in here. It's the side of the garage, guys. It's almost always the side of the garage. Back here, we'll get some moisture, some reason for the water to come in or the termites to come in, and they find those wooden cabinets and they don't want to leave. So we just want to make sure that we've had some recent treatment here. It's not that cold in Arizona. Nothing like a 25-year-old unit still kicking it. You can see that they've done some repairs here. We've got a lot of rust going on. This is the south side of the house too, so you're gonna get straight sun right onto this. Insulation line looks nice and sealed up. Looks like somebody serviced this not too long ago. I want to see this penetration sealed up. I don't like to see that big gap there, so scorpions, crickets, whatever can get into your house. But I don't like to see that. Looking at the data plate on here, looks like it was manufactured in the year 2000, 4-ton unit. Then of course that R22. We don't like to see that R22. That's just telling us it's an older system. That Freon actually worked pretty good and actually worked a little bit better, but what does it do? It kills the ozone, so it's going to get really expensive to keep filling this up. I would budget for replacement on this one and at the very least get this thing serviced. We've got to check this soffit ventilation. We want to make sure that there's screen material in all these soffit vents. That way we don't have bees nesting in here over the summertime and then you have a bee issue inside your house. So yeah, I walk around the whole perimeter of the house, look up at those screens, make sure they're screened, make sure we have adequate ventilation throughout this entire roof. We've got side soffit ventilation, then we have gable vents on the back and the front. Small cracks like this around the window are always going to happen in Arizona. The stucco dries, the window shrinks, heat transfer, you know, you got movement all the time. So these things are always going to crack. It looks like this has been patched and painted a few times. We just want to make sure this crack doesn't get too large. We don't want water to penetrate here and then stain and cause damage down here in the stucco wall. And some more window cracks that are opening up in the cracks over here on the windows. So we just got to make sure that we stick some sealant in here just to prevent any moisture from making its way back into this little corner in here. I know it seems like a small deal, but this is a major deal if you're talking about damage to the stucco wall down here. If it rains, it pours in Arizona. You can see all this has been repainted down here, so they've been trying to patch that up, but you can see the crack still comes through. We might as well pull this thing off, just make sure we got a broken hose bib handle. Just want to make sure it works, right? Yeah, I don't think that's going to be working too well. It's leaking out of the handle. It's leaking out of the anti-siphon device. You're going to need some repairs on this guy. Now the water meter for this property is over here at the northeast corner. It's going to travel over to the main water shutoff right there at the corner of the house. Garage door is operational. Belt drive on there. It's opening and closing really good today. We got our gable vent on the top of the garage here. Checking our light fixtures, making sure they're nice and tight against the wall. We don't have any big gaps up on the top for water to get through. Checking our stem wall, foundation around the side. This is where your water heater TPR valve discharges to. It does have a pan inside, but the pan only discharges to the garage floor. So this is another kick-out flashing up there that's plugged full of debris from that tree on the side of the house. It's not close to the tree, but it's the only tree around that would be filling that full of gunk. So on the front of the house, you can see this pavement has been replaced. That's newer pavement. This is older pavement. You can see this is scaled out. It's kind of got that snake skin look to it. Craze cracking, I believe it's called. Main plumbing clean out here. It looks like a T clean out. That's when you only have one and it goes down and it goes both directions out of one instead of swooping on both sides. A little bit of migrating weather stripping up here at the window. Not sure if you can see that, but that piece just droops down in there. Probably get a better look at it from the inside of the house. This is the east side, so this is going to be morning sun. Morning time right now. Your main water shut off, main electrical panel, and your irrigation. One thing we note on this side of the house is you're improperly graded. You see this is higher than the house. We don't have any adequate drainage to get water out of this area, so water builds up in here, it's going to pool up against this house and go down in there, and you don't have nearly enough space to even see if we have termites in there, because the grade has been brought up all the way down on this side of the house. So we need to dig this out a little bit so we can see your stem wall. It's just not visible today, and ensure that you don't have any termites or water damage. And your main water shutoff is right there, and it goes into an anti-siphon device for your irrigation system. Then your irrigation manifold is right next to it. Now the problem with these things is these gophers, these underground critters that live out here, they like to fill up these boxes. They don't like to see these big voids, so they come and they discharge all this material and they fill this box up for you. Then you can't get a hold of your manifold, so we need somebody to get in here and just hand dig this out to make sure that manifold is exposed again. So we're right just a little bit above 80 psi today. I am leaking a little bit here, but we're already at 80, so that's telling me we've got pretty high pressure out here. We might want to put a pressure regulator in this valve here. Just limit this down to about 70. Just takes a little bit of the pressure off your fixtures inside the house, but at least you have adequate pressure out here. And yes, it's perfectly okay to have the main water shut off for the house above the irrigation valve. So you can turn off your house if you want to leave for a month, and you can still irrigate your bushes. That's what we do in Arizona. Yeah, I tried and run an irrigation system test. Turn it on at the irrigation controller here. I want to run these on a manual station. Yeah, there's 3 stations programmed in here, so I'm running them for 5 minutes a piece. I'm gonna kind of walk around and check these out. Sometimes these controllers are a pain in the butt, but I want to make sure that everything is getting watered as it's supposed to. See what's, I mean, I guess that's for the tree, right? But then you have this line here that isn't, it does have water in it, but sometimes these things build up with gunk. You can see it's wanting to put out water, but these bubbler heads are, let's see if I can clean this out. Yeah, that's just not going to open today. That's common. Find a little bit of that going on. Looks like we just have a few trees. Look at all this water coming out here. It's already running down into this basin here. Swale. Oh, look what we got going on over there. Nice. All these are irrigation lines. What do they go to? I don't know. Plenty of irrigation out here. You're probably going to need some maintenance though, because that doesn't look like it's watering anything. My guess is that's supposed to be back up there at that bush. Oh, we do have a bubbler under that bush too though. They've likely removed quite a bit of plant material from here over the years. See, these are still active, they're just clogged. It's got water coming out of it, but the tip is clogged. And this is going to be a major irrigation leak underground. You see it bubbling up like that. That means you've got water leaking from one of your main pipes underground right here at the front. So that's not good. Under this big tree, I'm going to look for water staining under the soffit here, because all that leaf debris up on the roof was building up in this area, so sometimes it builds up and retains moisture up there. You can see the underlayment is nailed to the fascia right there where that ridge cap comes around. Just want to make sure that we don't have any wet spots up there, anything that might indicate some problems with that underlayment. Yeah, we got another one of these hose bibs covered up. Interesting way of doing that. Alright, we got water here. What do you think, that's from a animal, or do you think that's from irrigation leak? Something was trying to dig here or something. Pretty nice looking backyard here. Now this has got a metal gate that opens up into a wildlife type area. So in Arizona, when you're backed up to something like this, you have to worry about snakes, lizards, scorpions, all those pesky pests that you don't like to see are going to be more prevalent in your backyard because of this. You don't have any protection really. So we've got some mourning doves, got some other birds over there, some partridge, some whatever the fuck those are. But look at this view. You got mountains all over out here. It's beautiful. So let's say that you get about an inch of rain out here. Where do you think the water is going to go? So we're looking for the low spots. An inch of rain falling here. We're not going to get any to go out to the street this way because we've got this in the way and the landscape is built up. So this is a higher spot. That's a lower spot. So we're definitely going to get water going this way. So we want to make sure that we have a little channel for it to get out of here. You can see this little divot or swale built in here. Or irrigation lines back here. Hopefully they kick on soon. But you can see this is built up. Something's been burrowing back here. Got a big old hole located right there. Probably something in it. Who knows? But when they dig down there, they're going to build a big mound up here. So that's why this is raising up too. I'm from North Dakota. I used to coyote hunt a lot. See a lot of coyote dens just like that. And you have a lot of this dead material back here that could just be cut out, removed. That's really soft in here. Really soft. On the back side of the house, a little bit more weather stripping, bowing up there. Dipping out a little bit. But we have good flashing up above. Doesn't look like we have any water staining. Another gable vent up on top. Help ventilate the attic. This is on the west side. You're going to get a little bit of this chalky paint coming off on the windows, on the stucco. It's just age. These windows are original to the house, so not perfect. That's probably the best example of blown out weather stripping or bowing weather stripping I can show you. Now, I'm an inspector, I'm not an investigator, but I do always look for clues on how water is settling in areas. You can see how this debris is kind of like lined up around here. It's telling me that water was likely pooling up in this area and pooled up, and this was the edge of the pool. So no, we don't have any staining over here today, but judging by the way that that water faucet right there leaked out here and then the water is just sitting right there, that's going to be kind of a low spot. So you're going to want to watch that for more deterioration or build some type of drain system to allow water here to go off your property instead of building up and causing more damage. Okay, let's head inside now. These windows are really dirty today. It's going to be hard to find any moisture in between the panes because of it. So if you're selling a house, it's a good idea to get your windows clean. Not only does it look better, but I'm not going to say that I can't find a blown out seal or something because they're so dirty. They're dirty like that, I can't find the moisture in between the window panes. See, it already looks filthy the way it is. Inside of the house, it's really nice. Really nicely put together. We've got some dated appliances for sure. Gonna give these all a run for their money. See what I can get them to do. And same thing with the front windows here. That's that blown out weather stripping. If I can get out of the sun, that little piece that's dropping down up there. Front door heading out east. Dual sinks, electric, everything's electric, no gas here. Old frickin' dishwasher. Look at this leather padded handles on the fridge. They don't make them like this anymore. And a banana nut muffin if I choose to eat something. Oh, that stinks. Ooh. Anyway, when I first got here, it was about 65 outside, 67 in the house. So I bumped it up to 75, got the heat pump going. It's feeling good, nice and warm in here. We've got a bathroom here. couple bedrooms off to the side, then a master bedroom up here, primary, if you will. And then just a couple long vanity here. And then the laboratory and shower in its own bedroom over here, its own room, not bedroom, just room. Older Berber carpet. Gonna see some staining. Gonna see some divots. So you're probably gonna want to replace this carpet. There's not much you can do to fix a divot that hardcore in Berber carpet. You're likely gonna want to put a new pad underneath of it. The air filter right there, the register is a little bit loose. That's going to be an issue. And then here's your washer and dryer. Attic access here. We've also got an attic access in the garage where we were just at, right up there. So there's probably a fire barrier wall in between these two. So in the laundry room, we're going to run the washer and dryer because all appliances are included in this sale. We're going to give them a go run for their money. Dryer kicked on right away. Want to make sure that the emergency shut off on the door works. Made by Sears and Roebuck. Nice. Extra large capacity, heavy duty. I'm not sure about that. This is a really small unit. And same with the washing machine. This hole to put your clothes in is about the size of a basketball. But we do have a lot of debris built up in there. You're gonna want to wash this thing out before you use it. Take this rubber off. There's probably some mold built up in there. This is Electrolux Frigidaire. So let's give this thing a shot. Oh, it's got its own thing for the signal volume. Interesting. Extra rinse off. Just see if we can get it to do its thing. Now I check the connectors on the back, make sure we have a valve for both the hot and the cold, so if there's something the matter with the washing machine, you can turn it off locally right here without having to turn off your main water shut-off valve. And then we have this little flexible metal vent corrugated pipe. You know, all those little pieces of metal is just another place for lint to catch. So we like to see smooth as much as possible. Then it connects to the wall down there. Moves around a little bit, and then it goes in the wall cavity and goes straight up, and the electrical is tied into it as well, right there for the dryer. And that dryer vent should go straight up, and it likely meets up with this ceiling vent, and then they just push the both of them out the hole together. But we need to verify that. South-facing windows get super hot, so we're going to find some broken plastic trim, usually around here. That's just the inside of the window here where the vinyl gets so dang hot that it wants to warp. And then when it dries out or cools off, it gets a little brittle. So I'm seeing a little bit of leaking or moisture intrusion around this window. You can see some of the cracking and the weather stripping. It's been here a while, so these windows aren't new, but we just want to verify that they're functional and still sliding well. It doesn't take too much effort to close them. You can hear the wheels grinding on that quite a bit. So I'd recommend some routine window maintenance on this just to smooth that out, clean it up a little bit. This plastic trim, you can seal that up and get a company to come in and replace this plastic trim as needed. The purpose of this plastic trim is to prevent moisture from pushing through this little crack and then getting in between these window panes. I'm not sure why they taped down this little transition strip on the inside of the closet here, so they left vinyl flooring, pergo style flooring in the closet here, but they put a little transition strip and then they taped it down with blue tape. So I'm trying to peel the blue tape off and just make sure that it's nice and solid on the ground. None of these remotes for the fans are working. They seem to work for the lights, but I can't get any of the fans to work on. They're all extra. Oh, there we go. Got some movement. Yay. Boy, that is slow. All right, let's let that get up to speed and see if that's even worth having on. Now this is the other closet. Now I realize why they taped this down. They didn't I mean, they put some caulking down here, some sealant, but nothing adhered to it. Nothing. There's nothing on the backside of this wood that even looks like it was tried to seal down. They just like put it in place and left it. So definitely going to want to reattach that. So what happens when you have broken plastic trim, you can see the edge of the window right there, right? So we have moisture inside the house. Say it's dry outside but moist in the house. It's cool outside, so the hot air wants to push through the windows to the outside. Your hot air wants to go to the cold. So your humid air on the inside of the house is going to push through this little crack, and then it's going to get trapped sometimes in between these window panes. And we start to see discoloration along the bottom side of the window when the moisture starts seeping in through that little crack. Sometimes it'll go out the complete window and it'll just dissipate to the exterior, but sometimes it gets trapped in here, and then that's when we get fogging windows. We're missing the plastic trim along this whole side of the window. You can see the big gap right there too. Huge gap. So the windows on this side of the house definitely need some maintenance. This is an interesting hall closet here. So they put in the plastic metal shelves here. Just dropped it all the way through. So it's just a faux front. Yeah, it works, right? If it were me, I'd probably just put some wood shelves in there, but hey, teach their own. In the primary bedroom, right outside the primary bathroom, we've got this nice closet, nice long closet. Gives you access to your clothes, right? We've got some minor repair marks. We actually have an AC vent in here, which is good. I think that helps keep your clothes smelling a little fresher. You get a nice hole in the wall back there. Not sure what that's from. Primary bedroom windows, more of that weather stripping bowing up there with those top windows. That one's pretty bad as well. This is straight west. So we still have functionality out of our windows, but again with the plastic trim all the way down, it's just starting to crack out and break. Routine maintenance needed. Now I've got the furnace on right now, so we're blowing a lot of air into this room through that vent. So what that's doing is pressurizing this room a little bit because we have no air return. So we have a big vent up there, we have a small vent here, we have another vent here, and we have another vent here. So we have 1, 2 medium-sized vents, a small vent, and a large vent in this room, all being contained by this one door. So when you don't have enough adequate room for the air to get back to the air handler, you're going to create almost like a suction effect. So when this AC kicks on or the heater kicks on, the air is going to take that door and want to push it closed. See, it sucked it back in. So that's, you can almost hear it. So it's sucking air back through over to that air return back there. So we need to make sure that we either cut that door up a little bit, or like we're doing now in newer homes, we're putting jumper ducts. Just a duct that goes from there into the hallway to equalize this pressure. Looks like the shower faucet's dripping a little bit out of the handle. Nothing major, but something we want to address. So the drain stop isn't working in here. Doesn't do anything, doesn't hold. You want to make sure that it's even hooked up. Oh, we got a leak. It's leaking. Oh boy. This stuff is rusted out too. Alright, where's that coming from? I can't see back there because of these drawers. Hey look, it's dripping right out of the drain stop. That's our problem there. Big problem. With all the damage it's causing. You're rusting out your metal supports for your drawers. That's not good. So we've got the hall bathroom shower running. Noticing there's a nice little gap in between the shower wall and the tub spout there, so that's where moisture can get back. All this water dripping down the wall there can go right behind the wall, right in that area. Another thing I noticed is grout missing along the tile wall junction there. So what I'm concerned about is water getting on the floor and going down in that crack and then warping out this trim board there. So we want to regrout that or put some caulking down in there. So I'm at the kitchen sink right now. We're seeing some water damage over here on the corner of the wood here underneath the sink. Looks like they've removed an RO system, which is likely what this was tied into. That probably goes over to the fridge or just up to the sink there. But some previous damage down here. There could have been the RO system sitting right on top of this, and then a pressure tank somewhere in this area. We want to get all this wood that's been damaged by water out of here and replaced. We don't want this thing to grow mold. But we do have the garbage disposal operational up there, and then the drain for the dishwasher up here. Hot and cold lines, then a hot line running over to the dishwasher here. We'll give that thing a run too. And a lot of times on these homes that haven't had a lot of work done to them, these angle stops are getting old and corroded. So you can see some of the calcium deposits and rust and stuff built onto them. So I put a warning in my reports just saying, hey, you probably want to replace these before they start leaking. I don't see any of them leaking today, but just look at that one back there. Would you trust that for another 5 years? I wouldn't. Oh, that doesn't sound good at all. I don't think they're going to be using this dishwasher anytime soon. Bunch of gunk built up in the bottom down there. Lots of problems with the rack here, rusted out, corroded. I'm not sure what's going on with this drawer here. I don't think it's really meant for this dishwasher. You can see the color difference between this one and this one. And this one hits that back thing. There's a little piece of metal. I don't think this was meant to go in there. So the only way to get the drawer out all the way is to lift it over the top of that, and now you can push it back. Ridiculous. This is like the cleanest 13-year-old microwave I've ever seen. Look at how shiny that thing is on the inside. It's like nobody's ever used it. Look at that, July 2012. You're probably going to replace it anyway because it looks like ivory. I am happy though because it vents up and out. Now when I'm testing a fridge, I'm going to test all the features it has. It does have water. It does have a light switch on the front here. But I don't test the ice makers in these fridges, so I have no way of, I don't have a good way of testing these ice makers in the amount of time I'm here. You can see this one is rusted out pretty good, and it's been turned off. And the amount of time that I have, I'm not going to flip that on and make sure that it produces ice, because you're probably going to want a new one anyway. Look at all that. That's gross. So I'm trying to get up in the attic here, and I can't push the attic hatch open. There's something blocking the attic hatch on that one side from opening up all the way. Let's try and reposition this ladder. Oh, for God's sakes. Finally. Look at this though. You're gonna run the damn platform right over the latch, right over the hood, or the hatch for the attic. So now every time you open this up, you can't open it on this side because of that big old lip right there. The hell figured that out? Don't do that. I would recommend cutting that off, having somebody cut off that little lip, just so you don't have the problems getting up into your attic like I just did. All it's going to take is a little cut right there to make that opening a little bit bigger so it doesn't bother this hatch opening. But you can see that vent for the laundry right there. They tie into each other. That's where we're going to have some problems. is all that lint is going up and right back down the other one. So the solid one is where the lint goes up. These are your bathroom fans. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some lint on the inside of that pipe on the top side of that laundry vent fan in there. Taking a look around here, roof structure, air handler up in the attic. This is an older AC system, so got to keep an eye on it. There's our other attic hatch right there. So you don't really need to use the garage hatch or this hatch. You could use one or the other. No insulation above the garage. That's typical. Our insulation for our door or attic hatch is right there. Let's see if we can't work our way over there. So we made our way back to the air handler in the attic here, and we're finding a lot of rust in this drain pan. So these are condensate drain line is right here. That's where it comes out of the system. There's a breather pipe. I like to see this over the top of that drain pan just in case this thing drips a little bit. But then these two lines go to the exterior. This one on the left that's tied into the system will drain next to the ground. This one that's tied into the pan will drain above the ground up on the wall somewhere so you can see it, and then it's usually red because all the rust in the pan. You'll see it on the side of your house. But when you have a really rusty pan like this, it's telling me that the level is probably not adequate, so we want this thing sloped towards that opening. So it should be sloped this way, so any water that gets in here should make its way into this pipe. But another problem is if it does start leaking again, this rust can go right through the pan, and then it could go right onto your ceiling below. So they need to replace this pan when they replace the air conditioning unit. Yeah, it's an older system. It's going to be hard for them to negotiate repairs, but it's 25 years old. It's time for a replacement. Sewer camera inspection at 4336 South Pony Trail in Gold Canyon out here, or Gold Creek. I'm actually going down some plumbing cleanouts right now. I thought these were going to be a T cleanout, but I've got a swoop here, so this is only one side of my cleanout. Probably have another side right there, which is going to be located under the ground somewhere up here. There it is. So the one on the front is just a little bit farther towards the street. So let's go down underneath the house first into these ABS pipes and see what we can find. Got a corner there. I do have the water running at the primary bathroom, so in one of the sinks. So if we follow that water back, it should get us to the primary bathroom sink. There's another drain connection there. So we're going to have the hall bathroom, the kitchen, and the laundry room tying into this main lateral here. Corner here. A little bit of debris built up on the inside of the pipe. Should be cleaned out. Another corner. So we're still seeing water. So we're still going back to the primary bathroom there. And this is your primary bathroom sink drain that goes into the lateral there. So the lateral will go a little bit farther. It's likely the shower connection there. and that's probably the toilet connection in the back side of the primary bathroom. So now I'm going to open up that other clean out and come down that pipe right there and go the other direction. So this is where your other clean out was located. It's kind of below grade. That needs to stay above grade so we don't lose it and we can get access to the drain system. We don't have to search for it all the time. All right, there we go. Going down into the drain system out to the street now. So now we're traveling east through the ABS pipes. We still have water flowing from the primary bathroom. What do you think that white mark is from? It's from paint. People flushing paint down. And that's where you hook up with the city connection, right there at 36 feet. So the connection looks good. Don't see any issues with the main drain line going out to the street. 35 feet from the clean out here in the front yard where we connect in. Yeah, that connection looks good. So if you have any questions about the sewer camera inspection, please get a hold of me, Home Inspector Dan, or get a hold of your agent and she can get a hold of me. Thank you for using Property Inspections Plus. If I can get this out of here. There we go. So that's where that second clean out was, closer to the house. This one was sticking up earlier, but this one is a little bit buried because it's down farther than that pipe. So I would raise this up. You can get an extension on here, raise it up about 6 inches, just so you don't have to redo all of your landscaping here. It's a really nice house. I recommend a few things on this home, but nothing crazy going on here today. Just look at that view. This is your front door. This is what you get to look at every time you leave your house. That's beautiful. Thanks for watching today, guys. I'm Home Inspector Dan. We'll catch you on the next one.